And welcome back, everyone. Cocalico and Ephrata boys basketball to tip off in just a few minutes. But right now, let's take some time with a good friend of mine, Jeff Reinhart of Lancaster.com, to kind of get an overview of this LL girls basketball season, already a couple games in. Jeff, first of all, the big news coming out of Section 2, Brianna Caldwell, the Spartans' star senior forward for Garden Spot, may be out for the year with a torn ACL. If that is true, how big of a loss is that for the Spartans?
That would be a really tough break for Garden Spot, John, for sure. Super player, great athlete, and this was going to be her team. One of the top scorers back from last year for Garden Spot, defending section champs, and I sort of put them up there on that one line to repeat. Tough break for her. She went down in the opener in their tip-off tournament last Friday in Muhlenberg. Looks like it's an ACL. I know she had some tests on Monday, and I know they're still waiting for the results. I have heard that there's a shot that she could play with a brace. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. That's a pretty big injury, especially for a teenager. So we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed for Miss Caldwell. She could miss some time. That'd be a tough break for them because, like I said, they are sort of the favorites there in Section 2. They are the champs, and she was definitely going to be one of the players to watch in the league. So outside shot she could play, but if it is a pretty significant tear, and if she needs surgery, she will be done, and that would be a shame because she's also a track star, don't forget, in the spring. So you hate to see injuries, but it looks like Garden Spot's going to have to deal with one here early on.
Now let's say that is true, that she is out for the season. How much of the gap now in Section 2 is wide open with now Lebanon joining the crew as well as, Ephrata? Does that play a factor in if Garden Spot can repeat or not?
Definitely. Sure. Absolutely. This is a girl who was going to average double figures, good defender, very athletic. I like Lebanon. Keep an eye on them. They're new to the section, so the folks around here might not know Lebanon as well, but they have a player named Jamiqua Benjamin, who's a really good 6-footer in the post. Saturday night in their tip-off tournament at Northern Lebanon, she had 27 points and 21 rebounds. So she's a really good player on the glass. And I know they're looking forward to her matchups with Julia O'Brien, Garden Spot 6-footer. So that could be really interesting there when those two teams hook up. But yeah, if Brianna misses a significant amount of time, sure. I think the Section 2 race gets a lot closer, especially with Lebanon here.
Now, one team that really hasn't lost a step whatsoever has been Lancaster Mennonite, 3-0 to start the season. Donegal as well has been red hot early on with a 3-0 start. But Caitlin Vanderhoff, what can you say about this girl? Averaging 25 points per game, a 28-point career best versus Ephrata back on Monday. How impressed have you been with this young lady's ability to take over a game?
Extremely. She's always been good. Her freshman year, she kind of came off the bench and was sort of instant offense for a minute or two. Sophomore year, junior year, she started, was fantastic, shared the ball a lot. This year, she's the only full-time starter back. She told me the other night, hey, I know I'm only one of a few kids that are back. I don't mind pulling the trigger. If I have to score a little more, that's fine. And she has been scoring. As you mentioned, 28 points the other night against Ephrata, quietest 28 I've seen. She's fabulous. She has a full ride for basketball to the University of Maine. So she'll be going up to Orono next year to play hoops for the Bears. Full ride D1, and she's playing like a D1 player. She's fabulous. If you get a chance to see Mennonite this year, go. Vanderhoff is absolutely one of the best players in the league.
Now, before we let you go, there have been a couple of teams that have struggled early on, a couple of teams that have gotten off to that hot start. We mentioned Lancaster Mennonite. A team like Warwick, who lost against Mannheim Central, playing up against LS tonight. But if Warwick goes down 0-2 in a tough Section 1, is it going to be very tough for Coach Reber and these Warriors to kind of rebound and get back into the fold?
I think Warwick's going to be there. I really do. I really like the Cruz twins. They're a lot of fun, and you got to have guards, especially when the weather gets cold and the games get bigger. You got to have that backcourt, and Anna and Carmen can definitely handle that. I think Warwick's going to be in this. Section 1 has a lot of parity. I think Cedar Crest is the team to beat, even though Megan Phillips, their really good standout point guard, could miss some time here. She has an ankle. There's some disciplinary things going on at Hempfield that might hurt them a little bit. I think Section 1's wide open. I have no reason to believe that Warwick will not be there. They've been there in the end the last couple of years, and I think with Cruz and cruising, they got a great shot. Keep an eye on Warwick for sure.
Jeff Reinhart, LakeSports.com. Thanks for joining us tonight.